Alright, I'm out here in the woods. There's Tack's little shelter ring. And we're out here. That was my lantern I made. If I got my finger up. That was my lantern I made. And I'm out here camping in a tarp. Open front. Beautiful out. Thought I'd do a kit video. Or what I take, a loadout. Cutting tools. This is typically what I bring for the most part. Saw. Silky Zubat. That thing is just rock solid cutting fool. That thing is by far the best saw I have ever used. Which comes close, or I have another one that's close that I have used. It is, I don't remember who makes it, but I bought it at Menards. It was a Menards special pruning saw. It's got the curved blade on it, which makes them cut freaking awesome. This is a professional saw. If someone's climbing trees, pruning trees, cutting trees down, they pack that with them most of the time. Freaking awesome. It does have replaceable blades. It is a little bit more expensive to just plain purchase. It was, I want to say it was like 70 bucks when I bought this a couple years ago. But this thing, I would hate to guess how much stuff this little saw has cut. And it has cut down some pretty big trees. Dead trees, but pretty big ones. Thing has been a rock star. And then it's got the hard sheath, which it's got tie out points. So you can, I actually tie it to my bag if I'm going very far. And then it does have a belt loop with a quick detach. So you can take the whole thing out or just pull the saw in and out. Freaking, I don't know if I can get it out one-handed or not, but we'll sure try. Oh yeah. Thing is just awesome. Need to clean some pine off of it again. It does build up with pine, but everything, the pine pitch, but everything does. I was cutting this little branch above me, about 3 poles, and it was down. And it was probably an inch and a half across. But you take the screws out, you can put a different blade in. Silky Zubat 330 Professional. Freaking rock star. I don't have to worry about a hinge point bending, not working. My pet peeve is they have to have a bushcraft knife, or a bushcraft knife cannot be a folder because it will break, but your bushcraft saw has to be a folder because it has the same characteristics of a pocket knife. I don't get it. I don't make the rules, but apparently that's what you have to go with. I love that one because it doesn't bend. It is a little bit more awkward than a lap or any of them other folding ones because it is longer, but it does hook to your belt or onto your pack super easy. I love it. It's a rock star. Knives. This one I kind of rotate between this one and I have a Pro S. Both stainless. I use this mostly for food prep. Some light whittling or cutting works awesome. Mora. I mean, everybody knows a Mora. Awesome. This one was either 7 or 12 bucks. The Pro S is somewhere in about there too. S is for stainless. I use a stainless knife for that. I do have a couple of these in carbon that I have used for different things. You got to kind of watch them. They are shiny enough that you don't think they should rust, but they will. I have one that looks just like this one, except it's in carbon, and I sometimes forget which one's which. You got to pay attention. And then here's my good knife. This takes up all the heavy work. If I was to go anywhere with nothing else, that would go with me. It is a Condor Desert Romper. Freaking thing has been awesome. I've used it to skin deer. I've used it to cut the meat up off a deer. I have used it in the woods. I have used it at work. I have used it everywhere I can possibly carry it and use it. Works awesome. It does have the ferro rod, which I don't think I've ever used because my friend Jeremiah's pet peeve was, this is my survival knife. Use all your other crap when you're out camping. Save that for in case something happens and you have to have it. That, and it makes it not rattle. Rattles drove him nuts. The deal on the back is my sharpener. Ceramic sharpener. Both with cedar handles. Both from this farm. Right here where we're sitting. That's where them cedar handles come from. So it's special. Especially since Jeremiah made the Kydex sheath and all this. And it has the tin on the back, which has some fat wood and cotton balls and fire starter stuff in it. Awesome. Still comes out one-handed without an issue. It is a coated blade. Well, let me see if we can get it to focus. Well, maybe. Focus, you piece of crap. Let's turn this way, will it? Nope. Well, it is a Condor, that's what it says. Oh, you can kind of read it. It is a coated blade. I didn't know if I would like it at first, but this thing has held up really well. Made in El Salvador. Really good knife. It is a carbon blade. There you go, you got a really good view. If you look at it wrong, it will rust. Seriously. That is my biggest complaint with it. Because you look at it wrong. There you go. I've tried to keep it cleaned up as best as I can. It does have the micarta scales on it, which are awesome, but it does rust up in here. And it is the full knife, full tang. Thing is awesome. It is sharp. It holds an edge good, but you look at it wrong, it will rust. That is my main complaint with it. And my other one was skinning deer for poking in to put the gambrel up. This is swooped too much. You couldn't cut very good with it to poke in where the Mora shines at it because it has that little point. It pierces through better where that's more or less straight up and down. But this thing was awesome for skinning after you had it open. Again, not every knife's good at every job, so that's why, but this thing has just been awesome. I love it. Plus it comes from good friends. Tack and Brenda and Brandon bought me the knife and for my birthday a couple years ago. So I have used this knife for, I don't know, a full year and a half. Almost 2 years. I don't remember when I got it. It's either been a year and a half or 2.5 years that I've used this dang thing, and I have just been hard on it purposely to make sure, because nobody has a review on it, so I'll have to probably get the specs and do an actual full review on it and put it up separately. But it's awesome. Oh, I can't do that one-handed. There we go. Even still has the click. And then the axe, little boy's axe. It is a Truper. So it cost like 12 bucks. I took and wrapped bank line on it and put super glue on it because I had another one. The wood handles aren't the best, but I wrapped that and I have absolutely abused this thing. It's a $12 axe. But if we have roots and stuff we need to dig out, that thing goes to it. If I hit a rock, I take it to the file. It's not rocket science, but it does its work. It is a good axe. I stripped the handle and I put boiled linseed oil on it. I did pre-profile it a little bit. I took my little, like, what is it, a 2-inch grinder thing, angle grinder deal that goes on the air. polished it all up. I had it really looking nice and polished, but now I've been using it. We've split a couple rib cages with deer with it. Got blood on it and it rusted. I've used it in the dirt. I've split wood with it. I've cut trees down with it. It is just rock awesome. It's useful. It's 12 bucks. And it's not $150 Grand Force Brooks. I can use that. I can stick it in a tree and come back, and I can still use that. If I bought a Grand Force Brooks, I wouldn't want to hardly stick it in a tree because I'd be afraid it'd break. But, well, here's part of my wood I split. I mean, chunk of apple. But it's awesome. Getting ready to throw it on so I can cook. But there is my cutting tools that I usually take with. And of course, I've got my sharpener. And I had this old flip phone case handed to me. And I took it and used... Now I can't hold my phone and open it. The zipper's being difficult. I'll put my puck in it. My sharpening puck for my axe and hatchets. Thing's awesome. It holds it, it keeps the dirt off of it and the grime off of it, and it's just the little cheapy. It was like $1 or something. I got it for birthday or something several years ago, and I didn't have anything that'd fit in it. So I found something that'd fit in it. It's kind of awesome. I could take it with me, hang it on my belt if I was out doing a lot of woodworking or axemanship. And then of course this is the 2 grit. I could use it on a pocket knife if I had to, or any knife. It's got the real coarse side and the real fine side. Don't use it often, but when I do, it's invaluable. I always try to make sure that comes with me. And then of course I got my ceramic one on there, and I've got my leather strop in my backpack for sharpening. Most of the time that does it. Oh, and I do have a little one that come with one of my Mora knives. It's just a red piece of plastic with grit on one end. It works pretty good. I don't use it often, but when I do, it's handy. Also, I'm usually not very far from a vehicle or a coffee cup. Bottom edge of a coffee cup where it doesn't have the glaze on it freaking makes them things shine. Ceramic, just like a ceramic stone. Cheap. You can buy it at a garage sale for 50 cents. Window, you crack your window and just right on the top edge of it, touch it up. We do that deer hunting. If we catch a bone or something, getting a deer, if we need to touch it up real quick out in the field, that way we don't have to get technical. Roll the window down so it's up about this far. Just run it across the edge real quick. You'll never notice it. Awesome life hack for sharpening. But here's what my usual loadout is for knives and saws, axe. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.